Hello everyone, welcome again in this class. We will study our geography chapter 2, that is forest and wildlife resources. And in today's video, in this chapter we will discuss topic about flora and fauna in India. So now when we talk about forest and wildlife, we must be familiar with what is the biological diversity or biodiversity. When we talk about biodiversity, we include two common terms, that is flora and fauna. So fauna talk about the animal life while flora talks about the plant life. Now, biodiversity is a kind of rich flora and fauna which is present in the wildlife. So, it has numerous cultivated species as well. It has various forms and functions that each species has for its individual. So, India is one of the world's richest country in terms of its vast array of biological diversity and has nearly 8% of the total number of species in the world. 90,000 species of fauna, 74,000 species of flora, 50 15,000 flowering plants, 2,000 species of birds, 10% of flora and 20% of mammals are on threatened list. The forest covers 78.29 million hectares, which 23.81% of the total geographical area. So if you look around, you will be able to find that there are some animals and plants which are unique in your area. In fact, India is one of the world's richest countries in terms of its vast array of biological diversity. This is possible twice or thrice the number yet to be discovered. You have already studied in detail about the extent and variety of forest and wildlife resources in India. So, you may have realized the importance of these resources in our daily life. These diverse flora and fauna are so well integrated in our daily life that we take these for granted, but lately they are under great stress, many due to insensitivity to our environment. So, flora is the plant life occurring in the particular region or time generally the naturally occurring or indigenous indigenous native plant life. Fauna is uh, all of the animal life that constitutes to biodiversity of any particular region or time. Flora and fauna, along with other forms of life like fungi, are called the bi- uh, biota of a particular region. So India has some of the world's most biodiverse region. It is a mega diverse nation housing around 8% of world's species. India hosts three biodiversity hotspots, the Western Ghat, the Himalayas, and the Indo-Burma region. These hotspots have numerous endemic species. The flora of India is one of the richest of the world due to a wide range of climate, topology and environments in the country. There are over 15,000 species of flowering plant in India, which account for 6% of the total plant species in the world. India covers more than 45,000 species of flora, out of which there are several species that are not found anywhere else. There is a kind of integrated system which is a network of interdependency between the flora and fauna. So let's say there are a number of trees in the region and half of them are cut. Then due to this deforestation, the fauna would be affected and there would be decrease in the wildlife that is present in that region. That mean all the system of a biodiversity are closely interrelated and there is a kind of multiple network of interdependencies that exist between the various flora and fauna. India is among the world's richest biodiverse nations with nearly 8% of the world species that are present in India. Now, if we talk in terms of the plant species, India is home to the early 47,000 species of which you have nearly 15,000 flowering species which are endemic to India itself, and of that you have of the total species you have 10% which are grown in buying and are threatened or are at risk of extinction. The next is fauna. You have nearly 81,000 species of animals that are present in India. 20% of the mammal species is threatened, and you have 79 species of mammals, 44 species of birds, 15 of reptiles, and 3 of amphibians that are again threatened. So this is the basic that we need to understand now. IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, has given the following classification to explain the three level of the danger level of extinction. So International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, short name is IUCN, has classified existing plant and animal species into following categories they are: first, normal species; second, endangered species; third, vulnerable species; four, rare species; fifth, endemic species; and sixth, extinct species. So next we will discuss all categories one by one. So first, normal species. Species whose population levels are considered to be normal for their survival, such as cattle, sal, pine, rodent, etc. So second, endangered species. These are species which are in danger of extinction. The survival of such species is difficult if the negative factors that have led to a decline in their population continue to operate. For example, black buck, crocodile, Indian wilderness, Indian rhino, Indian rhino, lion-tailed macaque, sangi, etc. Third, vulnerable species. These are species whose population has declined to levels from where it is likely to move into the endangered category in the near future if the negative factor continue to operate. For example, blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, Gangetic dolphin, etc. For rare species, species which small population may move into the endangered or vulnerable category if the negative factor affecting them continue to operate. Example, the Himalayan brown bear, wild Asiatic buffalo, des- desert fox, or and hornbill, etc. 5. Endemic species. These are species which are only found in some particular areas, usually isolated by natural or geographical barriers. Example, the Andaman tail, Nicobar pigeon, Andaman wild pig, myth in Arunachal Pradesh. Extinct species. These are species which are not found after searches of now known or likely areas where they may occur. A species may be extinct from a local area, region, country, continent, or the entire earth. Example, the Asiatic cheetah, pink-head duck. So, you have two species there that are considered as extinct. So, one is extinct, that is, they are no more, for example, dodo birds. Then you have extinct in wild that means they are no more found in wild in their nature setting, however, under preserved settings. Let's say under a sanctuary, all our national parks, they might be present, so they are present not in their natural surrounding but artificially presented. In the next is threatened species. There are three threatened species that we talk about. The first is the critically endangered, then you have endangered are very close to extinction, so they are kind of present in very small amount. Endangered and vulnerable are nearly extinction in near future. Then you have near threatened, which are close to a kind of threat that they might be threatened in near future. Uh, unless concern means they are abundant in huge amount, for example ducks, pigeons, cat, dogs. So all these are least concerned species. That means we are not much bothered about the extinction for these species. So I hope you all understood very well today's content. If you have any trouble for understanding, you should understand the whole concept and very well. An animation video is being shown for this. Please watch this animation video completely.
We call Earth our home in the universe. But we are not alone here. We share our home with millions of species of plants and animals, ranging from gigantic blue whales to microscopic bacteria. Plants, trees, animals, and microorganisms maintain the quality of our planet's air, water, and soil, which is essential for the survival of humans. Forests also play an important part as the primary producers. on which all the species of animals depend directly or indirectly. The variety of living things found in a region, country, or the entire Earth is called its biological diversity or biodiversity. Here is a picture showing the biodiversity of a coral reef. We do not live in isolation from plants and animals around us. Various species that form the biodiversity of a region are interdependent on each other. All the species of plants and trees found in a region are collectively called the flora of the region. The species of animals found in a region are collectively called the fauna of the region. India has a rich biodiversity and is home to around 1.6 million, or nearly 8% of all the species of flora and fauna found in the world. India is home to around 47,000 species of flora. These range from tiny ferns to lofty trees. Around 15,000 species of flowering plants are indigenous to India. India is also home to over 81,000 species of fauna. These include birds, insects, and land and water animals. Overexploitation and insensitivity towards our environment has led to large-scale degradation of biodiversity in India. According to official records, 79 species of mammals are threatened in India. The state of birds, reptiles, and amphibians is no better. Several species of fauna, for example, the cheetah, the pink-headed duck, the mountain quail, and the forest spotted owlet, are facing total extinction. The state of the flora is as poor as the fauna, with nearly 1,500 species of plants like Madhuka in Cygnus and Hubartia heptaneuron on the verge of extinction. The total forest cover in India is around 78.29 million hectares, or about 23.81% of the country's total geographical area. Officially, the area under dense forest cover has increased since 1997. But this is more due to increase in plantations than natural forests. In order to preserve world biodiversity, the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, or IUCN, has devised a method of placing different species of flora and fauna into 6 categories. As per IUCN guidelines, species of flora and fauna can be classified as normal, extinct, endangered, vulnerable, rare, or endemic. Plants and animals whose population is sufficient for the survival of their species are called normal species. These include cattle, rodents, and trees like pine and sal. A species that cannot be found after prolonged search in its area of habitation is called an extinct species. Note that a species may be extinct from an area, a country, or the entire earth. Some such species are the Asiatic cheetah and the pink-headed duck. A species that is facing the danger of extinction, if the factors responsible for its decline are not checked, is called an endangered species. For example, the black buck, Indian rhino, crocodile, Indian wild ass, lion-tailed macaque, and the Sangai deer, a species that is likely to become endangered due to decreasing population, unless conserved, is called vulnerable species. Examples are the blue sheep, the Asiatic elephant, and the Gangetic dolphin. A species with a small population that is likely to become vulnerable or endangered without conservation efforts is called a rare species. Some rare species include the Asiatic wild buffalo, brown Himalayan bear, desert fox, and hornbill. A species found only in a particular region due to isolation by natural or geographic barriers is called an endemic species. For example, the Andaman teal and wild pig, the Nicobar pigeon, and a bovine called mithun, found in Arunachal Pradesh.